How do you suppose we'll find them? Rarity asked. Once they had their necklaces on, they could be anywhere in Questia by now. All the ponies gasped as the all-too-familiar laugh echoed throughout the place. He's here, Fluttershy shivered. Discord, Twilight called. Stop this madness. The Draconequus laughed again, still not revealing himself. Madness? I assure you, I am quite the sane. After all, how else do you expect me to react when I discover my innocent, devoted wife is not so innocent and devoted? Discord, listen to me, Fluttershy shouted. What you saw, it wasn't me. Oh, really? How many of her ponies did match your delicate beauty? Applejack, you were there. You saw. I don't know what I saw, Applejack cried, looking around for the source of the noise. We have the elements of harmony, Discord, Twilight declared. Surrender, Screwball and Zane... Ball and Zany will not be harmed, and you as well. I won't be harmed, he roared with laughter. That's rich. That's real rich. The Alicorn stomped her hoof. Enough. Why are you even here? Isn't it obvious? Fluttershy squealed as Discord came out of nowhere and scooped her into his arms. I've come to collect my wife, of course. What? Fluttershy gasped. I thought you were mad at me. Oh, I was, he purred, stroking her mane. But I wouldn't blame you, my dear. That was that pesky stallion who corrupted your innocence. But don't worry, he won't be a problem anymore. Her eyes widened. What did you do to him? He chuckled. You don't want to know. Applejack gulped. That stallion was real? Oh yes, Discord sighed. He was real. I could tell by the way he screamed. Of course, Twilight gulped and maintained her stern appearance. You've gone too far this time, Discord. Oh, blah, blah, blah. Tell it to someone who cares, princess. That title is so weak. By the way, I mean, come on. Who does Celestia think she is? Handing a crown of wings to a plain, ordinary unicorn? Hey! Rainbow Dash shouted, flying defensively in front of Twilight. After all, that crown should go down to some pony who really deserves it. Twilight gasped, but her crown was levitated from her head and onto Fluttershy's. Discord, what? The Pegasus then started to say. Picture it, my dear, Discord said, holding her face out to him. You and I will rule this land together as the king and queen of chaos. Fluttershy's eyes widened. What? It will be better than anything than you'll ever dreamed of, darling. We'll improve this boring, pathetic, worried place into a beautiful playground for our children. And since we have forever, there will be more children to come. We could repopulate. Fluttershy then yanked herself out of Discord's grasps. What has gotten into you? I thought you had abandoned those thoughts. Oh, I did not abandon them. I merely set them aside for a while. He smirked as he put his arm around her. Come now, sweetheart. You've always been my queen, and now we can make it official. She shoved his paw away. Never! With a toothy grin, he grasped her by the shoulders. But Honey Bunch, I thought you loved me. No! Fluttershy cried, kicking her legs furiously. You're not my Discord. You're not that stallion I'm fallen in love with. Reality check, dear, I am. Enough, Twilight bellowed, shooting a powerful beam at him. Discord's paw recoiled as the magic had stung him, releasing his hold of Fluttershy. The Pegasus bolted from behind the Alicorn. You leave us no choice, Discord, Twilight said, placing her crown back on her head. Unless you seize this insanity within 24 hours, next time we meet, it won't be as pleasant. The Draconequus laughed menacingly. You'll have to catch me first. After he vanished, his laughter continued. What's happened to him? Fluttershy sobbed. He's flipped his wig, Applejack exclaimed. Twilight sighed. I'm sorry, Fluttershy, but this must be done. No, Fluttershy uttered. It is the only way to save Equestria and Discord's sanity. The Draconequus chuckled as his body transformed to chrysalis. Oh, that was so easy. Soon Discord will be nothing but a lawn ornament, and Equestria will be mine for the taking. I love it when things go my way. Meanwhile, while the real Discord was searching for the cotton candy clouds for his son. All right, Zany, he called. You win. I give up. After a few moments, the infant appeared in front of him. The Draconequus grinned and snuggled him into his arms. Oh, you little troublemaker, you. Discord put his paw around his head and started to feel faint. Sheesh, hostile takeover is hard work. Why do we say we find your sister and we take 5? Zany opened his mouth and smiled and clapped his hooves. Discord scanned the streets below for his daughter. Ah, there she is. He swooped down beside the young mare, who was still staring at her reflection on the puddle. I found him, Discord declared, holding Zany out to her. After all the excitement, the little scamper is probably worn out. How about we take a nap on the cloud, like we always usually do? He waited for a response, but received only silence. But she did not even lift her head to look at him. Confused, Discord cleared his throat. I said, I heard you, Screwball mumbled, almost audibly. Aha, she speaks. So what do you say about that nap? Dad, I want to go home. Discord froze. Later, honey. She finally turned her head towards him. I'm tired, Daddy. You said that after the game we go home, but the game ended an hour ago, she scowled. You pinky promised. If I thought of you as nothing, dear, Discord said, holding up his crossed fingers. Crossies don't count. Screwball then gasped. You lied to me. How do I not know that? He shrugged. You were slipping, my dear. Maybe you just needed a rest. I do need a rest on my own bed. Why can't we go home? Because this is our home, Discord gestured, his surroundings. The entire city is ours for the taking. Dad, stop it. I'm tired of this game. It will only get us in trouble with Mom, but the princesses won't. Who cares, he snapped. Who cares about your vile mother things? Daddy, what's gone into you? Why do you keep talking about Mom like that? Discord bit his lip and looked down at his angry daughter, then sighed and handed Zanny to her. Okay, he breathed. I'll tell you the truth, and you're not gonna like it. He then turned his face away. Your mother left me. He clenched his paw into a fist. She left us. Screwball blinked in disbelief. What are you talking about? She left me for another stallion! He roared. What? Screwball shrieked. It's true. I saw her. She was playing tansy hockey with that. Screwball then quickly covered Zanny's ears to hear the word. Discord then faced his children. But we don't need her, my darlings. We don't need any of them. We'll show them what happens when they mess with the House of Chaos. But Daddy, Screwball said in a broken voice, Mom couldn't. She wouldn't. She loves us. Loved us, Discord hissed. But we apparently were too repulsive for her continued loving. No, she would never. Mom loves us more than anything. She told me. Lies, all lies. She wasn't. I didn't. Then there was your talent, clearly flawed, my dear. The young mare was trying to process all this. Her thinking was fuzzy due to the shock image and fatigue. None of this made sense. Why would her sweet, caring mother do such a thing? Could she not have loved them? She did not know that Discord would become. She wouldn't, Screwball insisted, her eyes filling with tears. You're lying. Am I? Discord asked with an arch brow. It's time you learned, my dear. You can't not trust anyone, especially the ones you loved. Screwball glanced down at her reflection again, and then back at Zany. Her eyes had closed and sucked up the tears before glaring up at her father. Well, she said, I suppose that means I can't trust you either. Discord blinked in surprise. What? Still crying her brother, the adolescent stood on her hind legs. I don't want this, Daddy. It wasn't so bad when it was just a few harmless pranks, but this is just wrong. It's evil. Honey, listen to me. No, you listen. All my life, ponies have told me that you were evil and that I was evil too, and I never believed them, but now I see they were right. You promised you would never be evil again, and you promised the princesses, you promised Mom, you even promised me, she paused, but you lied. Her words pierced like a sword. Sweetie, go ahead then. Spread your evil and just leave me out of it. She looked down at Zany. Leave us out of it. What are you saying? Screwball turned back to him. Bye, Daddy. Screwy, wait. But the young mare was gone with the infant before he could stop her. The two reappeared with a deep in the ever-free forest. Screwball's knees collapsed beneath her. Now I'm more than tired than I thought, she said out loud. She then glanced at her brother, who was smiling with glee, clearly obvious that what he had just occurred. Well, it's like just you and me now, bro. She gazed up at the sky. Where can we go? Mom will be looking for us, and so will the princesses. I don't believe what Daddy said, but if it's true, Mom wouldn't certainly be happy, that's for sure. What if the princesses punish us? She held up Zany close to her. I won't let it happen to you, I promise. We can't go home. They'll be the first place they'll look for us. I can't stay with Dinky. I can only imagine what my older friends would be thinking of me right now. Every pony must think I'm a monster. She then sighed and held out to her brother. I really screwed up this time, didn't I? As she gazed up into Zany's eyes, they suddenly turned green, and Screwball felt her own eyelids grew heavy. A smooth voice inside her head told her to lay down and sleep. Sleep certainly sounded good right now. Then another voice screamed, snapped out of it. Screwball looked up and shocked out of her trance. What the? Then she looked at her infant's hooves. Her mouth was wide agape in confusion. In realization, she dropped him. You're not Zany. The baby scowled and transformed, and of course Screwball gazed up into fear that the queen of the changelings, who was now standing before her. Yeah, I underestimated your perspectives. I'll give you that, Chrysalis grinned. For the fact that I've been keeping this charade for the longest, it shows how good I am. Screwball choked on her own words. What have you done with my brother? He's alive, I assure you. We changelings may be heartless, but we have love foals. Your baby brother's just too powerful for his age. I think I will raise him as if he was my own dark prince. The young mare gritted her teeth together. You leave my brother alone, you monster! Chrysalis had put out her hoof to her chest, pretending to be offended. Monster? What my hypocrite you are! Screwball yelled and made a giant hammer appear behind Queen Chrysalis, and it came down on her head, but instead of causing damage, it squeaked. Chrysalis then snatched a mallet from the air and chuckled. Rubber! How adorable! What? Screwball uttered. She tried causing another spell, but it only resulted in an explosion of confetti. She tried again, but with a sharp pain in her head that broke her concentration. Chrysalis made no effort to conceal her laugh. It's no use, sweetheart. Since I switched places with your brother, I've been feeding off your love and draining all of your power. And of course, thanks to my son, there wasn't much power left to consume. Screwball's head shot up. What? Oh, have you guessed it? My son was playing with you since the day you met. And as if it wasn't for the world crashing down upon the young mare. No, you're lying. Oh, really? Pitiful girl. You lack so much power now, you can't even tell a lie apart from the truth. He wouldn't. He cares about you? Chrysalis chuckled. He was only pretending. He was actually going to be as Mummy told him. Yes, that boy was quite useful in my plan. Not only did he drain your power, but if it hadn't been for him, I wouldn't have known about your brother. Screwball's mouth was open, but her voice had been stolen from her. Unfortunately, my dear, the queen said slowly, now that you're powerless, you are no use to us anymore. As rustling in the bushes snapped out of the mare of shock, she turned to see the changelings emerge from the darkness, surrounding her and blocking all the routes of escaping. Feed on whatever she has left, Chrysalis ordered them, and then dispose her, slowly and painfully. Screwball gasped in alarm. She had to get out of there. She had to find her brother. She closed her eyes and harnessed as much power as she could, and gave it out her terrible nightmare. But she did not give up. Just as the changelings were inches away from her, Screwball exploded into confetti. The changelings yelped in confusion. What happened, in your majesty? One of them asked. Chrysalis growled in anger and pointed in the half-group. You lot! Find her and destroy her at once. Search everywhere. If she tells anyone that what she has witnessed, my plans will be ruined. The changelings saluted and separated from their hunt. When Screwball arrived at the chocolate lake, she could no longer stand. Her strength had failed her as she collapsed to the ground. All hope seemed lost for the Princess of Chaos, until a figure appeared before her. She opened her eyes to see the dark salute of a changeling, a pair of green eyes staring down at her. Instead of running, her head fell softly to the ground and drifted unconsciousness. Mothball gently stroked her mane. He had been searching for her since her father's mental breakdown. He just knew that his mother had gotten to her, and he knew that he could feel her power slowly fading away. If she had just escaped, his mother could not be far, and she would have to get her to safety. The prince used his magic to levitate the comatose around the mare onto his back. Fortunately, she was light as a feather. Don't worry, Screwy, he whispered. If it's the last thing I'll do, I'll fix this.